One.
Hey guys, it's time to get started. It's time for Bollox Talks and Tangents. Lenny's still working real hard on his notes. He's got his chair turned sideways. His microphone's nowhere near him. We don't know when he's going to join us, but I think he will eventually.
Hi, I'm here.
But I'm back. You guys appreciate you pinch hitting last week when I was in paradise. Wonderful vacation. But you guys understand had an amazing show, and thank you for that. But we got a fun show tonight. And it's more of a personal show. We're doing our personal top 10, the three of our personal top 10 TV shows. And I have some honorable mentions, I'm sure you do too, that didn't make the list, or didn't make my list.
Right.
I'm sure we're going to have some that possibly cross over. I don't know. I heard some of yours. There's a little, great shows, but I'm not sure they make my list. So,
and I'm sure I'll have some of yours that I'm going to go,
exactly.
Well, I never watched that.
Yeah, never even saw it. And Blake, I think, is going to give us a whole youth side of it that is going to be completely different, too. So we're real excited about it.
It's going to get weird for me.
It's going to, oh, gosh, Blake, now that scares me. But before we get into it, we got to talk about our amazing sponsors, St. Augustine Distillery and Citygate Spirits. These guys know how to do liquor right. So, and that's, got to be careful with the way you say that.
A friend of mine has a very favorite liquor store in Pacific Beach, in La Jolla in San Diego. Mm-hmm. And it's quite aptly named. Mm-hmm. It's the Liquor Box.
Oh, there you go.
Right?
There you go. So you
enunciate properly and you'll be fine.
Yeah, as long as you say it slowly.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you don't say, hey, I hardly know her.
But the distillery?
The distillery?
11 years. Hold on. 11 years. There you go. 11 years now. They're celebrating their 11th anniversary in St. Augustine.
Congratulations.
Yep.
And they're wonderful people. Mike and Phil over there, and Will, their GM. They do an incredible job. Just excited that they're our sponsors. We got
Pay no attention to the bottle here.
We got a different bourbon today that I don't remember us trying before. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that when we get to the whiskey of the week. But Citygate Spirits, such a unique flavors that they have there. Mm-hmm. If you haven't been there, get over there, do their tasting tour. If you're over 21, do their tasting tour. All right, our next sponsor, they had a big week this week. It was nuts. I mean, and it was crazy at like noon. It was crazy at noon on St. Patrick's Day. Blake went out at night and did some recon, and he couldn't even get in. He couldn't even get in. But Meehan's was the place to be on St. Patrick's Day. Best Irish pub in town. They absolutely just crush it. Wonderful food, wonderful people. And just so happy that they're one of our sponsors. So
it's a great place to be. The food is fabulous. The drinks are well made. The porch is a great view of the bayfront. You can't go wrong there. The backyard is delightful. Live music almost every day, inside and outside. They start outside, then they move inside. Mm-hmm. It's great.
Yeah,
can't go wrong.
All right, Abare, Kresge and Associates. It is tax season. It is tax season right now. They are the best CPAs in town. They handle all of my personal business, all my business, and they handle the nonprofits I usually work with. So really appreciate them being one of our sponsors since the very beginning. Billy Abare and them over there. If you think you can do your taxes and do better, you're wrong. You cannot. It's the only place to be and where you want to be. All right. I'm going to let you talk about the St. Augustine Pirate Museum and Kaiser's, the next two.
It's a fabulous place. I learn something new every time I go there. I watched a bunch of pirate shows, Blackbeard, Pirates. It was a run of them for about 5 years ago. Every time you turned on the TV, there were pirates, and they were historical reenactments, so they were pretty true to form. But then you go into the Pirate Museum, and you see the same names of the same pirates, the Hornigals and Edward Teach and those guys, mm-hmm. and it gives you the history of where and when they were all killed. they were hung on the dock in London. They were hung, it was just pretty wild. But you also come to learn about the fact that they would set up, Nassau was a pirate town. Jamaica was a pirate island. These guys were great and they were making democracies. They were seriously majority rules on ships. So it was an interesting time. And and then they get we talk about the Jolly Roger. They've got one of the two or three remaining legit Jolly Rogers. But then you go into it and they get a little whimsical and they talk about pirate movies and Errol Flynn and Peter Pan and Captain Hook. So it's something for everybody. And there's a treasure hunt or a scavenger hunt for kids. It's a great time. Great time.
You can shoot off a cannon. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can experience a pirate attack in the reality room that they have. It's really done well. And Captain Meehan over there, if you get the pleasure of getting him as your tour guide, you're going to really learn a lot. All right. Kaiser's Deli and Market.
Tasty, tasty, tasty.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. Go eat.
Yeah. And try the Bollox.
Okay.
Try the Bollox. They do a lot of in their market. I don't want to downplay the market side of it. The Kaiser's Deli, amazing fresh meats, incredible sandwiches. They can do big events.
Yep.
So just
platters,
and platters. But the market itself is a lot of local vendors, and the beer selection is amazing.
That's what I was going to say. If you're a beer drinker, he's got such a well curated selection of beers. Most of them chilled and ready to go. So he's got European, he's got domestic, he's got seasonal beers. If you like beer, go talk to Kurt. He will set you up with because the man knows his stuff.
Yeah, without a doubt. All right, talking about people that know their stuff, the Vault and Company, if you have coins, jewelry, anything, it is a pawntique. It is not your average pawn shop.
I love that.
Brian and his crew over there, they're so knowledgeable. I don't know if I've ever met anybody. I mean, you're a coin guy.
I am. I have a collection.
But Brian, to me, seems to have that expert level when it comes to coins, and his selections over there are just phenomenal. So, all right, let's get into it.
All righty.
All right. It's time for word origins.
You can go first. You need me to stall for you?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I got mine, but mine feeds into.
Oh, it does.
Show.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Mine feeds into the show. Does yours?
Of course, it always does.
Okay. Hopefully, we don't have the same one.
We very well may.
We never had the same one before. But
Let's see.
This one might be the one.
What do you got?
I got boob tube.
Oh, I got TV dinners.
TV dinners. Okay. I like yours too.
Okay.
All right. Boob tube. The first time it was ever used, I mean, the word boob for a numbskull or a foolish person has been around for a long time.
Not only breasts.
It's not just how the babies get their milk.
Right.
Yeah. Wrong type of boob.
Poor Blake is so disappointed.
No. I was just super disappointed. I was given formula instead.
Oh, okay.
If you remember that part.
Way to dig out of that one quickly.
Yeah. If you remember that part, Blake. But the boob tube, the first time it was used was in 1959. And the reason it was called a boob tube is a lot of the TV shows in the 50s were whimsical and foolish. Right. And if you watched too much of it, you were considered a boob. All right? And the way the TVs were made originally, they were made with, what is it, the
cathode ray.
Cathode tubes. And so it was mostly a whole bunch of different tubes that were interacting together. No one really knows how it works. It's like magic.
Yeah.
Just like when I really know how to take care of a car. When I turn the key, magic happens. So, and that's the way I feel about the older TVs and stuff like that. But the boob tube came about in 1959, and I don't hear it used as much today. Because we get a lot of our education from our television and a lot of our information from our television that, used to, you had to stay up for the nightly news to get whatever news you were going to get. And now, we're so into our phones and stuff like that we really don't rely on the local news as much.
No, and with a 24-hour news cycle now, I mean, you used to get a half an hour news at 6 o'clock. Uncle Walter would come and tell you what was going on in the world, and it would go away, and you wouldn't have to worry about anything until the next day. You know, now you've got a 10 o'clock, an 11 o'clock, you know, you've got a 5 o'clock, a 6 o'clock. You've got full news channels. You got 3 or 4 or 5 complete 24-hour day news channels. So it really is bizarre how much information is out there. And I have to tell you, I get a little disappointed when before I'm going to bed, if they haven't updated any, if nothing's happened, you know, how disappointing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I mean, do you remember when like CNN was the first all news network and everybody thought it was absolutely crazy? And now there's like 20 of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, our network's actually a news network also.
Yeah.
I mean, we try and give it local news the best we possibly can. We're entertainment and news.
Right.
So what you got as far as your word origin goes?
TV dinners. TV dinners. Yeah.
Swanson's?
Yeah, it was. You know, in 1925, Clarence Birdseye was the first person who was able to freeze vegetables.
Yeah, flash
freeze them, right?
Yeah.
He did that. In 1945, the Maxon Food Service Company, which was from Long Island, were making frozen airline dinners at that point in time.
Okay.
You know, aluminum trays, and these were for the oven in particular at this point in time because they hadn't invented the microwave or the radar range at that point.
The microwave had been invented, but we didn't
use it for that
in
right.
household residents.
You know how they found out that actually did that?
Chocolate was melting in his pocket or something.
Yeah, and it's standing in front of the big satellite dish. Yeah, that was there, and you know they go out and stand there to get warm, not realizing that they were getting a little too warm. They're
innards.
Right, and that's how they started. Oh, this generates heat in some fashion, but.
It internally generates.
Yes, absolutely. Boil you from the inside out. So in 1953, a Swanson's food salesman by the name of Jerry Thomas had a dilemma on his hand. It was past Thanksgiving, and they had 260,000 pounds of frozen turkey in railroad cars.
Okay.
Only problem with that is the railroad cars only kept refrigeration going while the trains were moving.
Wow.
So while they were trying to figure out what to do with this turkey, they had the cars go back from Nebraska to the East Coast and back and forth to keep everything frozen.
Wow.
He finally figured out what to do with it, and he created the first TV dinners. So in 1954...
Is that where you peel back the foil?
The foil and stick it in the oven. You know, with your little Salisbury... Well, the original ones were all turkey, obviously, because they had more turkey than they knew what to do with. But by 1954, they were selling 10 million of them a year. Now, it's interesting because in 1950, 9% of the country had a TV. 1955, 64% of the country had TVs. By 1960, 87% of Americans had televisions.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
that's where we did it.
I mean, I kind of chuckle, you know, I remember we had one TV growing up. We had the console TV, and then one of the cool things I got a portable TV that was like a 4-inch TV. It was a big battery pack, and the antennas going in every different direction. So I remember having that and watching some of the TV shows that are on my list on that little TV. But now we have a TV in every room in our house,
and your phone is a TV as well, for sure.
We have our iPads. We have so many different ways. Yeah, this is clearer by far on my phone than any TV I had growing up.
Yeah, the picture is fabulous.
Yeah,
my iPad, my phone, no doubt about it. Did you ever have a Sony Watchman?
No, I never did have one of those.
Okay, you familiar with them?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what they were. I never had one of those, and I never had.
Screen was like 2 inches by 2 inches, and trying to watch sports on that was not easy to do.
What was saying, like
a Watchman?
Sony Watchman, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
It wasn't on the watch.
Yeah.
It was actually...
No, it was handheld.
It was a handheld.
Yeah.
It was like a transistor radio. Do you know what a transistor radio is?
Yes, I do know what a radio is.
No, not a radio, a transistor radio. So it was a radio that was...
It's
the size of your phone, as a matter of fact,
size of this phone, but it had an antenna that hit the roof.
Right.
Oh, boy.
And one earplug.
Yeah. So it was its own radio. I never had a Walkman, and I never had a Watchman. Yeah. So I never had either one of those.
Yeah. The Watchman was kind of neat. A buddy of mine had one, but man, it was really tough to watch sports on that because I'm telling you, it was like a 2 inch by 2 inch screen, and it was black and white So forget it. But the quality of this stuff now is amazing.
All right. Our whiskey of the week. Whitmire's Texas Single Barrel Cast Strength.
What's the proof on that?
Straight bourbon whiskey. It is 56% alcohol, 112 proof.
That explains it. It's a little warm.
It's a little on the warm side.
It's not bad, though.
Surgeon General says women should not drink alcoholic beverages during pregnancy. So thank you for that.
That's very.
And it's
very
out of
beneficial.
Houston.
So can they legally call it bourbon?
So what do you say? They can.
Can they legally call it bourbon?
Yeah, it has more to do with the corn
Corn,
content
right, yeah.
than anything else is bourbon. Because a lot of people believe it has to be
From Kentucky. Yeah.
but it has to do with the corn content of whether or not it's a bourbon or not. So I'm going to tell you right now, this one's not one of my favorites.
It's hot.
Yeah.
It's actually, the flavor is actually very nice.
Yeah.
But the first sip I took, I was going, whoo, that's why I'm asking what the proof was. Yeah.
No, it's not one of my favorites.
Right.
I'll get through it.
You'll take one for the
But
team.
it's not St. Augustine Distillery quality.
No.
So
Those even the high proof St. Augustine Distillery whiskeys, they're round, they're full, they've got flavor. It's like the difference between a hot sauce that's just hot and a hot sauce that has flavor.
yeah, exactly. You got to have the flavor.
Yeah, no
if you
doubt
don't
about
have
it.
the flavor, it doesn't make sense.
It's just pain.
All right. So our show tonight's about your top 10 personal TV series of all time. There's a lot to choose from.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot that were brought up in our conversation in between the shows where I was like, that could have made the list.
Yeah.
I mean, I wrote down like 20.
Yeah.
I nailed it down to 10. And then I had 2 honorable mentions.
Okay.
So, do you have honorable mentions? And Blake, do you have honorable mentions, or do you just have your 10?
I do have a little. Check. I do have a little bit of honorable mentions.
All right. My number 1 honorable mention did not crack my top 10. Is Magnum PI.
You dog you. That's my number 3 choice.
Yeah, I wanted to put him in there, but I just kept running out of room, and I loved Island Hoppers and TC and Magnum and
Sure.
Apollo and Zeus. I loved everything about.
You're leaving out Higgins, baby.
Higgins and I loved everything about. And I'm talking original. Don't remake me.
1980 to 1988.
Yeah, don't remake.
158 episodes. 2 Emmys.
Thomas Magnum. He's one of the coolest guys that was out there.
Detroit Tigers fan.
And he wasn't cool because of that reason. But I had to put him in the honorable mention category. Mm-hmm. But you have him as number 3.
I do. It was Magnum.
I feel bad.
Magnum, Hill Street Blues were the reasons I bought my first VCR when I got out of restaurant school and I was cooking in restaurants, so obviously I'm working nights, and I enjoyed those shows, so I bought a VCR to tape them in time shift.
All right, you said Hill Street Blues.
Hill Street Blues, baby.
All right, where do you have them ranked?
4th.
I have them 7.
Okay.
They made my top 10.
Okay.
Hill Street Blues made my top 10. Blake, have you ever seen an episode of Hill Street Blues or an original Magnum?
No.
That is a no from Blake
right.
on either one of those. All right, we'll come back to Hill Street Blues.
And it was tough because it was Hill Street Blues or NYPD Blue.
Yeah, see, I never made a huge transition. I liked the show, but I never made a huge transition.
Hill Street Blues was cutting edge.
I liked LA Law above NYPD Blue.
Okay.
So, all right, what was your first honorable mention?
My first honorable mention was probably Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that Vegas with Dan Tana?
No.
Okay.
Las Vegas with James Caan.
Oh, okay.
Jacques Stumel.
I don't remember that show.
It was the Montecito Hotel and Casino in fabulous Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Guest stars are popping.
If you say it slower and louder, it still doesn't help me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's Robin Williams when you need him?
Yeah.
Will this work? That's rude. I won't do that. Right.
Yeah.
Especially in St. Augustine, God forbid.
Yeah, but it was James Caan.
James Caan played Ed DeLine.
Okay.
Jacques Stumel played Danny McCoy.
Uh-huh.
James Leisure played Mike. It'll come to me eventually. But it was about the operation of the casino hotel in Las Vegas. And I love Vegas.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time as a kid growing up in Vegas. I still love casinos. I'm going back at the end of April. It's kind of my, and Ed DeLine was an ex-CIA agent who is now the president of operations of the Montecito Hotel and Casino.
Gotcha.
And the other two characters, Mike Cannon, that was James Leisure, started out as a valet, and they promoted him to be like the head of security. And he said, "Mr. DeLine, I'm taking a pay cut here, because the money you make as a valet in Vegas is
you make good money.
you're just stuffing bills in your pocket."
Yeah, it's all cash. You don't have to claim it.
Yep. But it was good. They would have guest stars come through. There were scantily clad women. There were events.
It already sounds great.
You can't go wrong.
Blake, your first honorable mention.
My first honorable mention will probably be, I'll probably say tonight's Late Night with David Letterman.
Late Night with a great show.
Yep,
great show.
absolutely.
I thought it was a little bit before your time, but it was a great show without a doubt.
Yeah. The only reason that I can remember that show was if Big Mom would let me stay up late during sleepovers, I'll be able to watch it.
Yeah, no, I like David Letterman, and in college he was definitely
absolutely. Yep.
He was better before he switched networks, in my opinion. All right, your second honorable mention, Blake.
We're going
to go in reverse.
Second honorable mention will probably. So I have this as like number 12. I'll say SpongeBob.
SpongeBob SquarePants. Been on a long time.
Okay.
Yeah. He lives under the sea.
Yeah.
You can't complain about it.
Haven't ever seen an episode.
Yeah. Never.
Of
Never
SpongeBob?
won.
No.
Not one.
No.
We're asking that Tuesday night.
Okay.
All right. So
all right. I'm going to start now.
Your
Death in Paradise.
Death in Paradise. See, that's two I don't know.
It's a British show.
Okay.
It's been on since 2011. 117 episodes. It'll be up to their 14th season just started. You can see it on BritBox, but it's also on Jacksonville PBS, which is a great station, by the way. If you like any British shows, the Jacksonville PBS station does a really great job. They really do. Please stay alive, public television, please, before they shred you like everything else.
Well, that's up to the people.
True, because they'll pay.
It's not up to the government.
Well, you do get funding.
But that's the whole thing.
Right.
The government shouldn't pay for that.
Right.
It's public television, but
it came out of the National Endowment for the Arts.
Yeah.
So so it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I like a good PBS. I mean,
absolutely. Well, they do a lot of British stuff.
I almost put the documentary, which it was kind of a series, but I didn't know if it qualified to Civil War.
Civil War with Ken Burns.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would qualify.
I almost put that in mine. I was like, but I like the baseball one and that one. I was like, if I put one in, I got to put the other one in, and I ended up not putting either one of them in.
But Death in Paradise is about this island called Saint Martin. Saint-Marie in the Caribbean. It was French, but now it's British, and they've got a little police department there, and they keep sending over British deputy inspectors or detective inspectors, and for a little tropical island, there's always a murder.
Yeah,
every week there's a murder. Go figure.
I don't want to go to that island.
So, and Julie gets a real kick out of it.
How do you get off of the island if you're a murderer?
They catch you. They catch you.
It's not an escape plan there.
Nope, they catch you. And they'll be up to their fifth inspector. They knocked off one of them, but then and they're these guys get there. They're on vacation. A murder happens, and the commissioner, who's been in every episode, I called London. They said you can stay, and then they freaking it's like the British Navy. They impress them, and they have to stay there and now become the detectives on the island. But they have a great time because you're walking around in shorts and a t-shirt.
Well, Lenny, we're going to have to kind of shorten up each one of our explanations.
Right.
We're almost 15 minutes in, and we haven't even got to the list yet.
Okay. Only one thing about that, which Julie laughs at, because pre-credit is the murder. And then it goes into a lilty. So then the body's laying there, and the credits come on for the show, and a lilty, jaunty music comes on, and Julie gets a kick out of the fact that there's a dead person there. And look at the uplifting music they play.
They can play elevator music.
Yeah.
All right. My other honorable mention, just to get this in, and I'm only going to say it, but it's about a New York Jewish guy.
Yeah, I couldn't watch that show.
You didn't watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Oh, God forbid. No, I thought you were going to say Seinfeld. That sequel is bad.
No.
I am freaking Larry David. Are you kidding me?
I know, and I have friends exactly like you, exactly like Larry David, and one of my closest friends is I swear he is Larry David, just in a different body.
Yeah, I can't watch it because it's too close to home.
He's from Brighton, Brighton Beach.
Brighton Beach. Oh, yeah,
Brooklyn
sure.
There, and he is Larry David.
Yeah.
So that's my that's my other honorable mention. So we're gonna fly around. We already talked about Hill Street Blues.
Yeah.
As being my 7 and your 4.
Yep.
Best character from Hill Street Blues.
Probably Renko. Oh, no, Mick Belker. I'm sorry. It's Belker.
Belker. Belker, without a doubt.
The first growling, biting cop you've ever known.
It's Belker, without a doubt. All right, who's Blake? Quick, you're 10. Who's your 10?
My number 10 is American Crime Story.
Okay.
Because all three series, because all three seasons dealt with a different topic each. Mm-hmm. First season was the People versus O.J. Simpson. Mm-hmm. Second one was the assassination of Gianni Versace, mm-hmm. and the third one was the impeachment of Bill Clinton.
Okay, the Versace story was really, really done well.
Yeah.
Your number 10.
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. I left Ted Lasso off, and I'm excited about the
next
season 4.
Yeah.
And I left Ted Lasso off because it was only 3 seasons so far.
But it was wonderful. But how many times?
It's amazing. Goldfish. Just be a goldfish.
Right. But we've watched. I wish I could. But Julie and I have watched it 3 times, the entire 3 seasons.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about our top 3 characters. Ted Lasso could break that list too. And Blake, you've never watched Ted Lasso, have you?
No, I tried to, but I haven't watched it fully. I haven't had the time to.
Yeah, it's worth making the time for sure.
Yep.
Okay, my number 10 is Cheers.
Okay.
Were you ever a Cheers fan at all?
A little bit.
Okay.
But not so much. Spent too much time working in bars and restaurants of my own. Yeah. So.
All right. My number 9. My number 9 has been on for like a bazillion seasons, different characters every year. I think it's just been done really well since the very first season to now. And I was watching it last night, and that's Survivor. So, have you ever got into Survivor at all?
I've never gotten into it. I may have watched in 37 seasons, whether up to 25 seasons or something like that now, because they do 2 a year.
Like
They do 2, 3 a year.
Yeah.
I may have watched a total of 1 or 2 episodes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, I think it's really done well, and the fact that it's had that sustainability.
Sure.
I mean, I think it's my only reality TV show I have on there. And I think it's the best reality TV show that's ever been made.
Oh, you just reminded me that I left one off, but that's okay.
Okay. Yeah. So, what's your number 9?
The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, it was on my long list over here. Yeah. So some great characters. Sheldon's one of the greatest characters of all time too.
I still would have probably killed him in his sleep.
Yeah.
Jeez. Same.
What? Yeah. And you're an Asperger's guy.
Yes, I know.
Just,
and I don't want to be
the kind of guy Sheldon needs as a roommate.
And I don't want to be associated with Sheldon. Just so you know. So
yeah. So,
all right, number 9. Unfortunately, Lenny, you did bring this guy up. Curb Your Enthusiasm is number 9 for me.
Yeah. So Curb Your Enthusiasm. So it's near your number 9.
I don't need to hear people whine. I do it myself.
Number 8 for me is.
And we're zooming through the bottom half because I want to focus on our top 3.
Okay.
Each of our top 3.
Number 8 for me is Inside the NBA. Like Erling Johnson, Kenny, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal.
It has to be after Charles joined, though. Right.
Yes, it has to be after Charles joined.
It was great.
Charles,
and Shaq made it a little bit better, but Charles is what made that show special. And they're going to ESPN next year.
Yeah,
and he's done.
No.
Oh, he's coming back?
No,
that's just going to be his last year.
So basically, long story short, TNT is still going to be producing the show, but just going to be airing on ESPN.
Yeah.
I thought Charles Barkley was doing one more season and out.
Yeah,
he might. He might.
I thought that's what he was saying.
They paid him a lot of money.
They paid him a lot of money.
Man, I was rooting for him to be governor of Alabama.
Yeah.
No.
They paid him a lot of money. Yeah.
The state that had George Wallace would never vote for Charles Barkley.
Yeah, I think they will.
I don't know.
Everybody loves Charles.
It's hard not to.
I can tell you this.
Charles Barkley, Kay Ivey. Charles Barkley, Kay Ivey.
You know who introduced me to Barack Obama?
Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley introduced me to him. He wrote a book where he interviewed different people, and one of the chapters was on Barack Obama when he had just become a senator. And in the book, he's like, this guy's going to be president someday. In the book, Charles Barkley makes that statement. And, I don't know who helped him write it, but they wrote it as if Charles was talking it. And it's he caught a lot of grief of "I'm not your role model."
And I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was the most
100%.
honest thing anybody's ever said.
It was 100% accurate.
Yep, I agree. That's where I really became a Barkley fan.
And
So I'm a basketball player.
he made a statement joking with some friends, like, "I hate white people." Like he was joking, 100% joking. His wife and family are white. And and he said it to a friend, and someone overheard it, and they made it sound like he was a racist. So I mean, it's just when you live in that light, it makes it quite challenging.
Yeah.
All right, you're number 8.
NCIS.
NCIS. Which one? There's 90s.
Oh no. The one.
The original one.
Yeah.
Okay.
The rest are sort of dropping by flies, but they've got a new show coming on middle of the summer.
Is that the one with Fez on it still?
Yes.
From the
yes.
70s show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Tony and Ziva are coming back to do NCIS. Tony and Ziva.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
All right, my number 8 is probably the show that made me laugh the hardest in individual scenes, and that's the Carol Burnett Show.
Okay.
Tim Conway and Harvey Korman, just some of the scenes with them. And if you haven't seen the scene where Tim Conway's talking about the Siamese elephants, and I can't really give it any justice, but he talks about the Siamese elephants and their trunks are joined in the middle. But if you read into like how that scene came to be, it was completely ad-libbed. Like they do audience version of it first, and then they do the actual shooting of it. And Tim Conway would do this constantly to the entire crew. He would completely change it just to try and get his own people to crack up.
Harvey Korman.
To get Harvey but if you Google Tim Conway, Siamese Elephants, Carol Burnett Show,
I will.
It's probably one of the funniest scenes. If you don't laugh at that, we probably can't be friends. All right, my number 7 was Hill Street Blues. Who you got at number 7?
It's a tie between McHale's Navy and Hogan's Heroes.
Oh, you got a tie.
Well, there was a couple. I made it an entry because they're very similar shows. One was in the Pacific Theater, and that was McHale's Navy.
Tim Conway in there.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yep. Who was just a brilliant character then as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Ensign Parker.
Yeah. And you got the kissing bandit Richard Dawson on the Hogan's Hero side.
Yep, absolutely.
Ooh, what a strange death Crane had.
Oh, bludgeoned to death in his trailer.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think there's a lot more to it.
There was. There was pornography and women and all sorts of wacky shit. I think it was in Arizona at the time.
Yeah.
I think that happened in Arizona. But you know what I liked about Hogan's Heroes was the creativity of it. You know, because they're in a prisoner of war camp, yet they had a network of tunnels underneath. They had the whole camp bugged. They had they would come up in the guard dogs, the German Shepherd, killer German Shepherd's kennels. They come out and they would lick the prisoners and go after the guards.
What character looked after the German Shepherds?
That was LeBeau.
LeBeau. Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
He's probably one of my favorite characters in that show.
Yep.
Sorry, I know nothing.
Sergeant Schultz. John Banner. You betcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
absolutely. I like that show a lot. I mean, there was just so much creativity in that show.
Yeah. What was the general's name?
Burkhalter. General Burkhalter.
Yes. All right, Blake. What do you have as your number 7?
My number 7 is Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live. Can't go wrong with that.
Can't go wrong as well. Although unfortunately the Chevy Chase Richard Pryor Word Association scene cannot be played on TV anymore.
Yeah. So, all right, you're number 6, Blake.
Okay, number 6, Late Night with Conan O'Brien.
Late Night with Conan.
You didn't get big into talk shows.
He's got Saturday Night Live. He's got David Letterman. He's a night owl over here.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, but I will personally say for me, Conan O'Brien is the best late night host that I have seen. Because
of his monologues or because of the way he handles his interviews?
I'll definitely say the way he handles his interviews is definitely better than most. Plus does understanding like modern trends like with social media like you watched his like remotes with him and Ice Cube in the lift.
Oh, that's to me. Have you seen that clip?
Which is
Kevin Hart, Ice Cube, and Conan O'Brien getting in the lift. getting Lyft when Lyft first came out.
No.
You have to YouTube that. I'm telling you, it is pee your pants funny. I mean, just absolutely pee your pants funny. So so Conan, that was shown on Conan Live, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah, but I would definitely say Conan's best work was actually when he didn't have any writers during the 2008 writer strike. Mm-hmm. So and actually, I believe those episodes are available on like the Internet Archive, where you can go back and watch. It's like, holy crap! But at least him,
he was a writer for Saturday Night Live.
He was writing for Saturday Night Live
and Harvard Lampoon. I think he went to Harvard
and The Simpsons as well.
Yeah, so just a talented guy, and he's an awkward, goofy dude anyway who makes you laugh just looking at
but plus Conan was a really great Oscar host this year, and he's actually coming back.
Exactly. Yeah, he's coasting into next year's Oscars. They reworked him.
All right, who you got as number 6?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay, I did not expect to be completely caught off guard.
I am surprised back here as well. Ladies and gentlemen,
the fact that you've seen any episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
all of them,
amazes me. But the fact that she makes it to number 6, still, I'm not taking away from the show. It's a great show. But Lenny, when I look at you, I don't think, wow, there's a Buffy lover right there.
Absolutely.
Blake, you gotta admit that caught you completely off guard.
That caught me off guard as well, and for some reason, to this day, I still confuse Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh yeah.
Well, they're way different.
Yeah,
you have not seen Buffy then. Yeah. They are way different.
She makes a lot of vampires turn into dust.
Yeah, they were way different.
Yeah.
But no, good show. Did not catch that one though. I did not see that one coming from.
It's the Hellmouth, man. You got to be careful in Sunnydale.
All right, here we go. This is my number 6. Could be higher. Some people are going to be mad at me. It's not higher on a lot of people's list, and that's Breaking Bad. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
Nope.
Yeah, bitch.
Dude.
Don't you guys understand that I have a hard time condoning bad behavior and people that have no redeeming freaking qualities?
Man, you really are a Democrat, huh?
No, I'm a humanist, for crying out loud. These are bad people.
Buffy, what did Buffy ever do to those vampires? What those vampires?
They weren't real. They were not. They were the living dead. She was saving Sunnydale from being bit.
Fictional. I don't have any. Well,
hang on.
I do have
hang
one
on.
that's pretty
There's
close.
a whole lot more crossover to reality in Breaking Bad than there is to Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I don't know. It's quite a stretch.
Real meth dealers actually did have to dye their meth blue to make it look like the show.
Yeah, because the show was so successful, they actually had meth people that were dyeing it blue. So that's how impactful that show was. All right, we got to go back to our sponsors real quick. We're about halfway through, and then we got our top 5.
Okay.
All right, and then I want to do the top 3 TV characters of all time. So you're still working on that, right?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay. All right. The Vault and Company, the Pontique, right there on US 1. They do an amazing job. Get over there, look them up. If you're looking for a Christmas present, a Valentine's present, a birthday present, or just want to treat yourself, get in there. They have the best selection of handbags I've seen in St. Augustine. Get over to the Vault and Company. All right, Kaiser's Deli and Market. Get over there, try the Bollox. I think we're going to try and eat there tomorrow if I can get away from all my meetings. We're going to.
You might have to be out. Yeah, I'll talk to you later because I'd meet you there if.
Yeah, if I can get back from my other spot.
Yeah.
So because we have. The Footloose Frenzy coming up, which you're going to.
Yes, looking forward to it.
It's an exciting event for
working on my
again.
Worthy cause, very good cause.
Just, I have an amazing crew that's working with me on it, so we're excited about that. And it should be an amazing time with Marshall Thorne, Todd Thorne. I don't know if you ever heard.
I got a paper cut.
Yeah, exactly. Just amazing voice, and quite an entertainer doing the music for us. All right, St. Augustine Pirate Museum. They have over 800 artifacts located right there on Sponsor Row. Sponsor Row on the Bayfront on Avenida Menendez. Used to be the Christmas shop. Do you remember that? Or was it?
No, that
it's
moved
always
down the
been
block.
It's always been the private museum since you've been here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
But get over there, see Cindy and the crew over there. They do an incredible job. Abare, Kresge and Associates, it is time for tax season. Best CPAs in town, no doubt. I put all my finances in their hands, and they just do an incredible job. And my numbers aren't easy to juggle.
No, I would think not.
I have a lot of different businesses, even though I'm under 10 jobs now, I believe.
Ooh.
I'm thinking about taking on a couple
What
more.
are you doing with all your free time?
I don't. Well, that's why I'm thinking about taking on some more. All right, but Abare, Kresge and Associates, these are guys always keep us in the right place. All right, best Irish pub in town, best bar in town.
I was looking at my list over here.
Meehan's Irish pub, amazing food, incredible selection of whiskeys. Their Irish cream you're a big fan of.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Make it fresh every day. It's luscious.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Get over there, Reggie and the crew. They just do an incredible job, and thank you and congratulations on the big success you had on Monday. I think they broke all kinds of records. I think they had to close down at 11 o'clock because
they ran out of everything.
Pretty much were out of everything.
That would make sense.
So
they have more whiskey than we do, and we have a lot of whiskey.
Yeah, we got a lot. We got if you can't see over here, we have 2 bins full of whiskey in another cabinet.
Yeah.
All right. Talk about a lot of whiskey. St. Augustine Distillery.
Yes, they make their own.
Celebrating their 11th year.
Yep, read that today.
They have rum, they have gin, they have whiskey, they have vodka, they have bourbon with done in a port barrel. Just so many different selections over there at the distillery. Number 1 tour in the country, as far as distilleries go. All right, and this one you can't really talk enough about Citygate Spirits. You need to get there and experience Citygate Spirits.
The flavors are just fabulous. Because you taste a lot of flavored whiskeys or flavored vodkas or things like that, and you can taste the artificial nature of them. These are not. I mean, we rave about the peach. It's great, but the pineapple stuff they do, the vanilla they do, it's all the Coca-Cola.
Oh, it's the flavors that they come up with and creativity that they have at Citygate is second to none. All right, you know what? We're up to number 5. My number five is, it could be number 1 on a lot of people's list. I think my 1 through 5 could be number 1 on a lot of people's list, and I wouldn't even question it. But my number 5 is MASH.
You know what? I'm going to move mine to 5 as well. I'm moving it down.
Okay.
Because I'm going to move Quantum Leap up.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And I can't hate on Quantum Leap. They didn't make my list, but I can't hate on it either.
No, it's such a great show.
Do you think the new reboot of Quantum Leap hurt the original one?
No, it didn't hurt the original because the people that were on the original still had love for the original. I think it was a good effort.
Yeah.
But, Bacala and the way he handled Sam, it just...
I learned something about that. Well, we'll wait till when we get there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're there.
Okay.
No,
I moved it up to MASH. We're on MASH now.
MASH. So MASH, was originally the movie. And they had such... In MASH, I think if you did a group of characters...
Yeah.
As an ensemble and the way they handled the characters, and it was about the Korean War, their hospital unit, mobile hospital unit. It was just so well written, and the actors, you believe that's where they were and who they were.
For a comedy, they got deep on a lot of things and brought out the true reality of a shooting war and the results that people died and, young people died. And they went through, psychological trauma, mental trauma, as well as physical trauma. It was wild. It really was. And I think that the casting was so good,
No,
so good.
Incredible. Blake, who you got at your 5?
So my number 5 show of all time is still ongoing today. Thousands and thousands of episodes. Jeopardy.
There you go.
No, Jeopardy, and I debated on whether or not to put Jeopardy in. I mean, I feel it's the greatest game show of all time.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And I just didn't have enough room for Jeopardy, and I can get behind that 100%. All right, what's your number 4, Blake? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My number 4 is the Chappelle Show.
Another show that just makes you pee laughing. I mean, I'm not a guy who, you'll only catch me a couple times. I've spent quite a bit of time on air and stuff like that, where you actually hear me laugh out loud. Like, I'm a chuckler, but I'm not a hard laugher, like where I've like lost control.
Breath.
Like deep breath laughs. But some of the stuff Chappelle did, because he just pushed the envelope so hard.
Yeah, not a fan.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Why aren't you a fan?
I just don't think his humor is all that funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So I mean, I put him in my top 5 comedians. And he's not even in your top 20.
I wouldn't think so.
Okay. All right. I'm just not. All right. You already said your number 4, which was Hill Street Blues.
Correct.
You have to admit, Belker was one of the great characters.
Absolutely. And then
Be careful out there.
well, there you go. But Dennis Franz as Bunce.
Yeah. Captain Furillo.
Frank Furillo.
Frank Furillo. Yeah. So, and what was his attorney?
Faye. Oh no, Faye was the other one. That might have been even a different show.
Yeah.
No, Faye Furillo was his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Right. It was somebody Davenport was the actress, I believe, and I can. Oh, Veronica Hamill was the no. I can see her, but yeah,
I can see her.
dark hair.
I don't know her name.
Yeah.
But I mean, Frank Furillo and Belker to me were the characters that made that show.
He was amazing. He was just he would just growl at I quit. You got me.
Yeah. I'll let go. Yeah. All right. And my number 4, and I don't know if you watched this one or not. It was an HBO series.
Nope.
Three out of my top 4 HBO series. Okay. My number 4 is Tom. I think Tom Hanks was the producer of it.
Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers.
I looked at that. I thought about that. I didn't watch it when it was on the first time, but I went back and watched it, whether it was on Netflix or someplace, and I watched it start to finish. Whew. That's like Saving Private Ryan every day. Oh my goodness!
It was so intense.
Yep.
And
really well done.
It was just. I mean, to me, production on it, and it was kind of the introduction of HBO series to me.
Was that Spielberg?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah. But it was one of those. It was the series of Saving Private Ryan, and to me, it of war shows, which there was a lot of them in the 60s and 70s. That was my favorite war show of all time.
Yep.
So
it was just so well done too.
All right. We already did your number 4. Who's your number 3, Lenny?
Magnum.
Magnum P.I.?
Yeah.
No, like I said, he was my honorable mention, but I can't hate on that at all.
No. And Tom Selleck, by the way, ended up replacing James Caan as the new owner of the Montecito Hotel on Las Vegas years later.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he came in. He was A.J. Cooper. Just call me Cooper. Comes riding in a horse.
Yeah.
And some guy out of Montana ends up buying the hotel. But, there were all backstories there. They're all, all sorts of interesting backstories. But that's one of the reasons I liked Magnum P.I., when you got into it. And, and it went on for 8 years. There was 158 episodes of Magnum. But as you got into the last 2 or 3 years, a lot more stuff was coming out of their time in Vietnam. And Magnum had a wife.
What's the most impactful line from Magnum P.I.? Ivan, did you see the sunrise?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Bang.
Yeah. I mean, and if you're a Magnum lover, you just. I have another friend of mine that was a huge Magnum guy at the same time, and I'll just when things get really, really kind of shitty, I'll be like, Ivan, did you see the sunrise?
Yeah.
And it squashes everything.
Yep.
So, and the other one, the other episode I really remember about Magnum that was so impactful was. When he got knocked off his
paddleboard,
his paddles, his ski paddle or whatever it was, or kayak paddle, and he was in the water for like 50 hours.
Yeah.
So
it was kind of superhuman.
Yeah. So those 2 episodes are the 2 Magnum episodes. Like I can almost remember vividly.
Yeah.
So. All right, Blake. What's your number 3?
All right. I'm gonna. So my number 3 is. Probably the most controversial show of all time, South Park.
It's a solid show, though.
Yes,
I was expecting Family Guy from you, but
yeah, I definitely think the thing that bumps South Park into the top 10 and as like my number one like animated show is like its commentary on society, like Family Guy. It's basically just the same formula every single episode per se. Mm-hmm. Like Peter does something stupid. There's like 20 cutaway gags, and it's all just a shame. Now it's all just like the same show.
Yeah. So all right, Blake. Wait, I haven't done my number 3 yet. My number 3 is one of the older ones, going way back, but I absolutely loved Lucy. I love Lucy. If Lucy is on, I will still watch it to this day. And I've seen every episode probably 20 times. And I absolutely love Lucy.
And they don't really age.
No. They really did just an amazing job with the physical comedy, the interaction of the 4 actors. I mean, it was very simple, a 3-camera system. And they just absolutely crushed it. And it was because of the timing, I think, of Lucille Ball more than anything else. It's just genius.
First pregnancy on TV, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Little Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was the name of the club?
The Copacabana.
I thought it was the Babalu.
Might have been. I always mix that up.
Yeah.
I think I get that wrong. I think I get that.
Yeah, everyone.
I think I get that wrong in trivia.
You miss it every time.
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah.
So, all right, number 2, and my number 2, and I don't know if this is on you guys' list at all, but again, I told you my top 2 are HBO shows. Mm-hmm. My number 2 is Sopranos. I didn't really particularly like the ending of it, but the Sopranos and the entire family and what they went through, a lot of bad guys. So I don't know if you like the bad guys.
I'll put it to you this way. I watched the first episode, and you got a bunch of middle-aged guys walking around Newark with baseball bats, kneecapping people with baseball bats, and I'm going, call a flipping cop for crying out loud and put these guys away. Yeah. And then I went back and started watching it and got invested.
Okay.
But again, not a whole lot of redeeming qualities.
No, not.
It's like, and you wonder why people are so cranky or people get away with shit or why Elon's shredding the world. It's because people are encouraged to watch poor behavior and watch people get away with bad behavior.
Yeah.
But
I think that takes away from that's part of the love of TV is, okay, I can't do that in real life. And I don't think...
But it happens in real life and it glorifies it.
I don't think people like normal people, bad people, and they go, oh, okay, yeah, I could be that bad person. But I don't think normal... They were already going to be bad. Normal, rational people can watch this show, and it's like, oh, okay, enjoy it for how the debauchery is. But I know a lot of people didn't watch The Sopranos because it was too vulgar or it was too over the top, like you said, on some of the things. It was a modern day gangster show, which I don't think they was as openly overt as what they showed on the show. So I can tell you this,
depends on the time period for gangsters.
My college roommate, his father got caught up with the Teflon Don. Like, he was in a Florida connection for that, and he had to go away for prison and stuff like that.
He went to college.
Yeah, so he went away.
Right.
He went to the farm.
Right. He was in college, exactly.
But when he got out, my roommate failed to tell me that his dad was out. And, because he would get calls and it would be from whatever prison it was and something like that. And we would do that. But my roommate failed to tell me, and I'm running numbers at the time. So this is when, there was no best bet and there was no Hard Rock or any of those things in Florida. So I'm running football numbers and baseball numbers and basketball numbers, to pay the bills. Government doesn't pay the bills. And the statute of limitations are way gone.
There you go.
I don't have to worry about that. But I come home, and for 2 days in a row, there's guys in black suits sitting in a sedan out front of our apartment. I finally walk in. I was like, guys, did you? I had 2 roommates, and both. I'm 5'7.5", 8. Never one of those really handsome big guys. These guys are like professional baseball players, handsome guys that are living with me. I was like, guys, what? Have you guys noticed the guys sitting out front? And my roommate goes, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, my dad got out. They're watching our house for the next week or so. I was like, okay, this is information I needed to know so that I didn't get in more trouble. So The Sopranos that was my little bit of association with something like that, and it came along at a time where it was really fun for me to watch. So your number 2?
Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap. Oh, it moved up.
Oh, yeah.
It moved it up to number 2.
And I learned something interesting today. You watch the show?
Oh, I did.
So, he looks in the mirror and he sees a different reflection looking back to him. Oh, boy. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, boy. I found out today how they filmed that. Mm-hmm. It was a clear glass mirror.
Oh,
so
really?
It wasn't. There was no silver backing to it. It was a clear glass mirror, and the actor of who he's going to be leaping into was on one side, and he was on the other side, and that's how they filmed it.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
No, it was. I love that show. Yeah. I think that was a great show.
They tied in everything. They really were great about that.
What were the years on it?
That was from 1989 to 1993. Won 6 Emmys and 97 episodes.
Wow. Yeah. So it didn't get to syndication because it got to get to 100?
I thought it was 100 for syndication, but yeah, maybe not.
Wow.
Couldn't have scored. And then toward the end of it, it got very allegorical.
Yeah.
Because Bruce McGill played Al the bartender, not to be confused with Al Giordano. Mm-hmm. And there were some questions on whether or not he was the godlike character that was moving him around to right the wrongs type of thing.
Yeah.
See, that's a happy ending type of story. He was going to fix things.
It was only in his lifetime. So he could only travel within his own lifetime. Did you not realize that?
I did. I'm just trying to remember because the new one didn't have that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the original Quantum Leap is he could only travel within his own lifetime. And I think the best episode of Quantum Leap is when he traveled to Vietnam and he was in the same troop as his brother.
Right.
And his job was to do this or save his brother, and he had to.
Yep.
He had to
and that's when
emotional.
And that's when Al got captured, and they're dragging him. He's sitting in the bushes watching Al get dragged away when he could have saved him.
Yeah.
Right. And he didn't. Oh, yeah. No, and I often wonder how far ahead they have to plan these series to have everything kind of link up. When all of a sudden something comes back 5, 7, 12 episodes later or the next season, and they're all linked in. It's fascinating.
Yeah,
There's a lot of thought that goes into those spreadsheets.
All right, Blake, what's your number 2?
Number 2 for me is probably my favorite comfort show, and probably for me the best nonfiction show, Top Gear.
Top Gear. Oh yeah, you love that show.
Yeah,
and the original show was so much better. It was raw.
It was amazing.
Even though they were like, American haters, they still did a great job.
Okay, yes.
But it was number 1 in England for how many years?
It was like number 1 for like 15 years, I believe.
Yeah, it's crazy. You ever watch Top Gear?
No, I'm not a gearhead.
Yeah,
and you were talking.
Well, you don't have to be a gearhead to like it. Right. I'm not a gearhead either.
Right.
But I did like this show when I would watch it with Blake just to be entertained by it. All right, Blake, you're number 1. We only have like 3 minutes left, so.
My number 1, the greatest show of all time, according to me, is Sesame Street. No.
Sesame Street was on my list.
I'm kidding.
You think I'm joking? I got it over here.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is like the most influential children's show of all time. It definitely did help a lot of kids out, like in situations.
I was Wonderama and Romper Room because I was too old for Sesame Street.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think the number 1 show of all time is The Sopranos.
Sopranos. He's got Sopranos.
Okay, good.
See, I raised him right.
Good.
So, all right. What is your number 1?
It should come as no surprise to those people that watch the Mike Davis show. It's The West Wing.
The West Wing.
West Wing was a brilliant show. Aaron Sorkin, baby. The man can write.
Yeah. So, no, it's really was a good show. Mm-hmm. I never was able to really get into it. I kind of locked myself into the Sunday night mode. Blake will tell you at the house, like on Sunday nights, that's my TV night, and just let me be. And that was the one time that Dad had time to himself. but I never really got into.
Was that when it was on Sunday nights?
Yeah, it was the Sunday night shows. My number 1, my number 4, and my number 2 were Sunday night shows.
Okay.
So that was kind of how those came to be. And the show I watch now, which is 1923, is a Sunday night show too. Yeah. But my number 1 is Game of Thrones. I think the production on it and the involvement of it completely caught you off guard. Almost every episode, like, wow, they had no problem killing off the main
characters.
character.
Absolutely.
Like you'd fall in love with the character, and you're like, oh wow, this is and gone, and
again, that's another show. I watched the first episode. Big talk. Mm-hmm. And when you got Jaime and Cersei up in the tower, having their canoodles.
It's fiction, Lenny.
I understand that, but then they take
in a castle. They have dragons.
I know, and I've been to that. I've been to where the dragons lived in Croatia, as a matter of fact, in Split. But be that as it may, when you got the brother and the sister going at it, and then the little kid catches him, and Jaime picks the little kid and throws him out the freaking window. Again, what is the point of this?
What would you do?
I came back, believe me.
If you got caught, what would you do? Throw the kid. I mean, you're the king's son.
Right. Well,
you might as well throw the kid out the window. You're going to get away with it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. I mean,
it took me 4 seasons to come back and start watching it. Mm-hmm. And I told you earlier that because I keep hearing all this Red Wedding talk. Mm-hmm. So I went and I watched binge seasons 1 through 4 to get to the Red Wedding. I'm going, okay, there you go.
I tell you this, probably, and this one sealed the deal for me. And I don't know if you got to this portion of it, but the single episode that was the most amazing of all the episodes was the Battle of the Bastards. And I don't know if you saw that, but it is the most intense battle scene, war scene that I've ever seen in movies or on TV. And it was the Battle of the Bastards. And
refresh me.
It was Jon Snow against... and I can't think of what the other guy's name was. Both of them bastards, but they came together with the giants and the dragon. I mean, and it was the most intense scene. So if you want to go back and see an amazing, just one clip of it, the Battle of the Bastards of Game of Thrones. All right, last thing I want to hit on, because we hit all our top ones. Top 3 characters of all time. My number 3, and I'll give you my number 3. My number 3 is for All in the Family. Archie Bunker to me is my number 3. All in the Family didn't make my list because they went a little here and there sometimes. Yeah. My number 2 is Hawkeye.
Yep, mine as well.
All right. And my number 1 is Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Because I drink and I know things.
The imp, there you go.
The imp.
And that's what's happening to me, trivia. I drink less and I don't know much.
Yeah.
I'll go with Jed Bartlett. And if you haven't watched The West Wing, watch the first episode.
Okay. I need to go back and start from the beginning. And
you really do. First of all, the first episode is brilliant.
I'm a binger guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I'll lock myself in. I'm a binger guy. So, who's your number 2?
I was Hawkeye.
Hawkeye?
And number 1 is Jed Bartlett.
Okay. Who was your number 3?
I can go with Colonel Hogan.
Colonel Hogan.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Blake, your top 3 characters.
Number 3, I'm going to say Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys.
Bubbles. Have you watched Trailer Park Boys?
No.
Oh, it's probably the best thing that's ever came out of Canada. Yeah.
All right. Besides hockey, number 2.
Besides hockey.
All right. Number 2, I'm going to say Cartman.
Okay, Cartman.
And then number 1.
Respect my authority.
And then Tony Soprano, number 1.
Tony Soprano, number 1.
Okay.
All right. Some of my ones that didn't make the list: The Walking Dead. I had Big Bang Theory, Friends, Shameless. I don't know if you ever watched that.
I did.
All in the
Again,
Family.
I would have locked him out of the house.
And Sesame Street. Do you have a list of a couple that you didn't make the cut? Just give me a quick one.
Monty Python and Flying Circus.
Oh, I didn't even think of them.
Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In.
Okay.
The Rat Patrol.
All right.
Grant Chester.
Don't know that one.
It's a BBC show. It's a British show.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, those are them.
All right, Blake, your list that didn't make the list.
Like people that didn't the shows that didn't make the list at all.
Yeah, they just, I mean, the ones that you wanted to get in there and you're like, they just couldn't, they didn't make the cut.
I definitely. Oh, hold on, damn it!
He's going to sneeze. Blake's going to sneeze. Say pineapple.
Pineapple.
Okay, it's gone. Now talk.
All right. I was going to say Daily, the original Daily Show with Jon Stewart was on there as well. Last Week Tonight with John Oliver is really great as well.
About that one.
And then, but also for fiction shows, I'll definitely say who. And I'll also say Ken Burns as well. The Last Dance was great.
Okay. You guys and the one that really should have made the list that didn't is the Stoidum. So actually, it's Bollox Talks and Tangents. And guess what, guys? We're at the end of this show. Thank you so much. If you would hit that share button, we still want to hear what your favorites are. Yes, Lenny.
And for those of you who did watch the show last week, I know it got a little glitchy on the replay and stuff, but just in honor of that show, I made everybody fluffernutter sandwiches today.
So good.
There you go.
Thank you, Lenny. Lenny made dinner for us. All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.